The Supreme Court has delivered a judgment against the holding of the general election that had already been declared. The people have now been deprived of the general election that had already been declared. After the President dissolved Parliament on the 9th of November, the political parties opposed to the election petitioned courts and obtained a stay order on the dissolution, and with the cooperation of the UNP Speaker, they engaged in various activities to demonstrate that they had a majority in Parliament. But it was only on the 12th of December when a resolution was passed expressing confidence in Ranil Wickremesinghe and requesting that he be appointed Prime Minister that the people of the country were able to see the real state of things. A total of 117 MPs voted calling for Ranil Wickremesinghe to be appointed as Prime Minister. 14 of those votes belong to the TNA. Even though the TNA also requested that Ranil Wickremesinghe be appointed Prime Minister on the same day, TNA parliamentarian Mahinda Rajapaksa made a special statement in Parliament on behalf of the TNA, saying that though they voted for Ranil Wickremesinghe to become the Prime Minister, they would not join the government and would remain in the opposition. So what has actually happened there is that the UNP, which has a minority of 103 seats, has been taken hostage by the TNA. If they do not adhere to the diktat of the TNA, the UNP minority can lose their parliamentary minority at any moment. The TNA now holds the remote control in Parliament. On the 12th of December, even before the Supreme Court judgment was delivered, Ranil Wickremesinghe spoke in Parliament about bringing a new constitution. Under the provisions of the draft constitution, this country will be divided into 9 semi-independent federal units. The new constitution will also abolish the executive presidency, which means that the presidential election that is due before the 9th of December in 2019 will not have to be held. The new constitution will also change the system of electing MPs to Parliament, which means that the parliamentary election due in 2020 can also be postponed, citing delimitation issues the same way the provincial council elections have been put off indefinitely. That is what they are now preparing for. After we formed a government on the 26th of October, the President declared a general election. When I was sworn in as Prime Minister on the 26th of October, that was to form an interim government that would last only for about 2 months until the conclusion of the general election, which was scheduled for the 5th of January in 2019. Since the general election can no longer be held, we cannot implement any of the measures we had planned to take to prevent this country from becoming another Greece. After the 26th of October, we were able to reduce the pressure on the people by bringing down price of fuel and some essential food items. We were also able to take certain measures to address the concerns of young professionals in the country over the Sri Lanka-Singapore Free Trade Agreement entered into by the previous government. We suspended the excessive taxes imposed by the previous government. We also managed to prevent several local industries from closing down. Furthermore, it has now become possible to end the totalitarianism system that prevailed in Parliament over the past 4 years, with partners of the government taking over the position of opposition leader and chief opposition whip and masquerading as the opposition while supporting the government. Since I have no intention of remaining as Prime Minister without a general election being held, and in order not to hamper the President in any way, I will resign from the position of Prime Minister and make way for the President to form a new government. The coming together of the joint opposition and the SLFP group that was in the government has now created a power bloc that commands around 54% of the vote base. Our main aim in the immediate future will be to hold the provincial council elections, which have already been delayed by more than 1 year and 3 months. There is no doubt at all that the people who stood by us since 2015 will continue to support us in the future as well. We will bring the forces opposed to the country down to their knees by organizing the people.